Yes, hi, it's Jonathan Bostock from Birmingham Gems, and we're here for another of our creative conversations. Now, we're in the mailbox. We're in a shop in the mailbox, but a shop that's been turned into an exhibition by the fantastic Dawinder Bansal. Now, we're going to meet Dawinder in a moment, but her event, her exhibition, is called Jambo Cinema, and we're going to have a tour. It is an absolutely amazing event. Dawinder, you are a producer, you're an artist, and you put together an amazing exhibition. I'd like to find a little bit more about yourself and about the exhibition, so please tell us.
Well, I've got a degree in computer science, and then I found myself not attracted to computer science but the world of immersive theatre. So my background is actually in immersive theatre, making those productions and actually telling stories of everyday lives and presenting them back to people in a very relatable and engaging way, and making people feel a part of the story themselves. And then this exhibition that we're standing in at the moment, it's a very personal project. It's been a labour of love. I started it in 2016 with items that I'd borrowed and taken from charity shops and promised to return to them. And then I'd realised that actually a lot of people wanted this to continue, and they said, hang on, this is just here for a pop-up, because I did it for a pop-up at West Bromwich Town Hall in 2016. And then upon realising that so many people wanted it, I thought, let me see if I can try and carry this on. So from that point until now, I have been spending my own money largely on collecting items and objects that I remember of that time of my life growing up, but also what's reflective of not just the South Asian community, but anyone who lived through that period of the 1980s, and what the lived experience was like, and the kind of the textiles, the furniture, the objects, the ornaments, the popular culture, which are always the touch points for different communities to see a part of themselves. And really, it's about celebrating family life. It's about celebrating, I suppose, not just a migrant story of people coming here and making the West Midlands their home. It's about enterprise. It's about the British Asian experience, which is reflected in my teenage bedroom. And it's also about this room, which for me, it would have been the best room in the house, by the way, that no kids were allowed into. But it's about coming together, and it's about taking a step back in time in a way whereby we're not so stimulated by technology. And the way that I've actually set this room up is that, yes, we've got the shops and the shopping centre out there, but once you come into this space, you try to switch off, and that's why it's been deliberately set in this way, so that people are away from everything out there. But also for me, this reflects a time before Sunday trading actually ruined people's Sundays, in terms of not really having that family connection time with their friends, and just downtime to just relax and get some nourishment in their lives. And so it's a multi-layered project. It's about being British, it's about being Asian, it's about being Kenyan, being Indian. It's about everybody as a family and people in the world who have come to Birmingham and come to the West Midlands and just are trying to make it.
And, we're going to have a look at the comments that have been made by people that have visited the exhibition. I know they've come from everywhere. They've come from across the globe because of the Commonwealth Games, and they've come here to see your exhibition. And, you must be very proud.
I'm extremely proud that this exhibition and the family story has been centre stage for the Commonwealth Games. This particular piece represents two of the Commonwealth countries, that's India and Kenya. And my father's shop, for the recreation of it, it was a dream that he had. He didn't have much money to get it going, but he did it. He worked in the British Steel Works in Bilston with his redundancy money, took the chance to set up this business, and it was very successful until he passed away. But this is about a celebration of the achievements of that community as well.
Yeah.
And although it's told from a very personal perspective, it's relatable to everybody.
Well, it's been brilliant. But, the city has to attract tourism. It's clearly doing that. You're playing a role in that. So, difficult question. What now for the exhibition?
Well, now the exhibition will be sadly packed up and put into storage, and who knows what's going to happen next. Ideally, but it's a funny thing really, because it takes time for people to find out about an exhibition and what's happening there, and the best marketing is word of mouth, and lots of people have been coming in or walked past and said, I didn't know this was here. And because I didn't know it was here, I need to bring my fans, I need to bring my friends, I need to bring my family, I need to tell this person. I've got friends in London, I've got friends up north, they would all want to see this. So are you telling me this has been, that's it, it's finishing? I said, well, yeah, it's not going to be here for very long. But I think doing this exhibition in the way that I've done this, by taking a very small idea and developing it over time with a lot of care and consistency, and bringing it to somewhere like the Mailbox has enabled me to test out, is this something people want?
Yeah.
And it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And actually they're thirsty for things like this, because people don't want to go to shops anymore. They can buy everything online. They want to go and have experiences, and they want to be nourished, and they want to be able to, well, feel that there's a part of themselves reflected in society.
Yeah. So clearly, events like this, your exhibition, it's a great attraction. It will bring the tourism to both the city and the region. Another thing I'd like to ask you is about the young creatives, your inspiration. You know, what's your advice to young creatives in the city and the region?
My advice to young creatives would be to not give up. And if you've got an idea within you, it's a bit like an earworm which won't switch off, and it's like, you must do this, you must do this. And if other people are telling you no, just don't give up, because that's what people told me about this project. I pitched it to many organisations and many galleries who said, we don't think there's an audience for this kind of work, and it's just heritage. And it isn't just heritage, it's much more than that. But I knew in my heart that this would work. It's taken a long time to get here, since 2016 till now, but I've proved that it works, and actually it can carry on.
Yeah.
But it needs to have support, it needs to have funders backing it, it needs to have the community behind it as well. But I don't want it to be sidelined into a little community centre out of the way. The reason why it's here is because it took so long for me to find this space, is because I didn't give up until I found a space in central Birmingham in a prime location like the Mailbox, and they actually loved it here.
And it's been brilliant. And Birmingham, Wolverhampton, the region, I know you're from Wolverhampton yourself.
I am.
You know, what about the region as a centre for creativity? What's your thoughts on that?
The West Midlands has a massive, huge hive of creative activity happening, but unfortunately, because the support isn't around it, and actually the West Midlands doesn't really champion its artists as much as it should, they end up leaving. This is the first time I've had a major commission in the West Midlands, and I've been working in the industry for a very long time. This project, it started from a place of trauma, of unhealed trauma, of addressing what death meant as an adult, well, what I went through as a child. So in 2015, I opened up my late father's briefcase, and I looked through all of his things, and I thought this was his dream. It was his dream to have this shop. It was his dream to come here and to give us a better life. And this exhibition really started from that moment of wanting to celebrate my father's life and celebrate the achievements of that first generation of migrants who came here, and their efforts were largely invisible. And I recognise, as someone who's British, Asian and second generation, what opportunities I've been able to have in the UK as a result of my parents' sacrifice coming here. So this for me is as a project which is about family, connection, celebration. It's about enterprise. It's about fitting in, but also being a bit different. And it's about trying to think about how all of these spaces coming together are an amalgamation of of all of our touch points and cultural references growing up in the 1980s, whether you're South Asian, whether you're from the black community, the white community, the Polish community, it's about everyone seeing a part of themselves in this very specific piece of work, which is about the Indian community coming from Kenya and settling in the West Midlands. And I just want to be able to continue sharing this, and the way that I'm going to be able to continue sharing this story as well as collecting more is by getting people to support it and getting people to fund it, support it. This isn't the end. This is just the start of things for me. And I feel so honoured to be able to come in to a place like the Mailbox and to bring my late father's shop, which was in a dingy part of Wolverhampton, and it was a tiny little shop, and to bring it here and to be a part of the Commonwealth Games and a part of history now. This project will always be a part of the cultural programme that existed in Birmingham in 2022. And my request and my ask is for people to get behind me and help me to continue this work.
Well, I'm sure they're going to. You know, you've done a fantastic job. Let's take a tour.